Tonight, breaking news, the House votes to ban TikTok here in the U.S. Democrats and Republicans, more than 170 million TikTok users here in the U.S. Will the Senate now follow suit? Also tonight, word coming in, a young man, a student pilot on a passenger plane, trying to get into the cockpit 3 times in midair before being restrained. First tonight, the future of TikTok in the U.S. The House votes to ban it unless the Chinese company that owns it sells it. The concern here in this country over national security. And with TikTok fighting back tonight, what does TikTok look like in China? Why are there far more restrictions and protections in China for young people on TikTok than here in the U.S.? And tonight, what will the Senate now do next? Rachel Scott live on the Hill. The breaking headline from Georgia, the judge in the case against Donald Trump, dropping 6 charges, 3 of them against Trump. 10 charges against Trump remain, with the judge's decision now on the future of DA Fani Willis coming at any time. Tonight, the scare on board a passenger jet flying from San Diego to Washington, D.C. That young man, a student pilot, trying to breach the cockpit multiple times. What they had to do to restrain him. Tonight, he's facing federal charges. Also tonight, another United Boeing jet with a problem, the 5th issue in about a week. A flight to the U.S. turning back. What was seen leaking from the plane. And news tonight in that Boeing case, the door that came off at 16,000 feet. The video of the workers working on that door erased. Tonight, the images coming in now, the massive landslide in Los Angeles, several homes damaged, residents evacuated, and the new and major winter storm we're watching tonight. Several states on alert, the warnings and watches already. Denver tonight bracing for more than a foot of snow, up to 16 inches, and severe storms from Texas all the way up to Chicago, then moving into the Northeast. Rob timing it out. Tonight, the danger in Haiti, the U.S. now deploying U.S. Marines, an anti-terror team to protect the U.S. Embassy in Haiti. Armed gangs surrounding the capital and the evacuations, including famous author Mitch Albom, who wrote Tuesdays with Morrie. What he's now saying tonight, our interview just in. Back in the U.S., the college quarterback arrested tonight during spring break. Actress Olivia Munn revealing her personal battle with breast cancer tonight. And the ABC News exclusive, Robin Roberts with actors Christina Applegate and Jamie Lynn Sigler. Both are battling multiple sclerosis. Tonight, their fight against MS and their fight to help others.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Wednesday night. Word coming in tonight, that scare on a passenger flight, a young man, a student pilot, trying to breach the cockpit multiple times, and the news from Georgia involving some charges dropped against Donald Trump. But we do begin tonight with the heated battle over the future of TikTok here in the U.S. 170 million users here in this country. Tonight, the House, by an overwhelming majority, Democrats and Republicans, passing a measure to ban the Chinese-owned app here in the U.S., unless TikTok is sold to an American company within 6 months. The move sparking strong reaction from TikTok users, some protesting outside the Capitol, many arguing it's not just dancing videos and viral clips. Some say it's their livelihood, their business. TikTok fighting back tonight, a heavy lobbying effort on the Hill. But tonight, why does TikTok look so different in China than it does here in the U.S.? Why are there more restrictions, more protections for young people in China than in the U.S.? And if U.S. social media is banned in China, many are now asking, why allow a Chinese company to have such a large and influential presence here? Rachel Scott leading us off from the Hill tonight.
Tonight, the House overwhelmingly voting to ban TikTok, the wildly popular social media app, unless it's sold by its Chinese parent company ByteDance. Lawmakers responding to concerns TikTok poses a national security threat and compromises the data of its 170 million American users.
This bill therefore forces TikTok to break up with the Chinese Communist Party.
This is not an attempt to ban TikTok. It's an attempt to make TikTok better. Tic-tac-toe, a winner. A winner.
The FBI and top intelligence officials sounding the alarm, warning the Chinese government could use TikTok to access Americans' personal information.
The problem is their ability to manipulate you. They already manipulate your algorithm based on what you like. And that can be innocent. All social media companies do that to try and tailor your feed. But it's a problem when the person in charge, or the entity in charge of manipulating, can be an adversary like the Chinese Communist Party.
TikTok denies those allegations, But lawmakers now warning TikTok could interfere in the election.
The risk in terms of propaganda, the risk to influence our election are just too severe.
In China, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube are banned completely. And the version of TikTok available over there is much different from what we get here. Listen to how a former Google executive described what kids see on the Chinese version of TikTok in an interview with 60 Minutes.
They show you science experiments you can do at home, museum exhibits, patriotism videos, and educational videos. And they make their domestic version a spinach version of TikTok, while they ship the opium version to the rest of the world.
TikTok pushing back hard, a fierce lobbying effort on Capitol Hill. Online, users enraged.
I'm literally shaking thinking about the possibility of this.
Have there been talks about this before? Sure. This time, it's serious.
We spoke with Brandon Hurst, who uses TikTok to promote his plant business.
My whole business would be devastated. Yeah, I would lose the opportunity to connect with millions of people on a regular basis, and the community that I've worked really hard to build would be gone.
How much of your sales are driven from TikTok?
100%.
President Biden recently launched his own campaign, TikTok, to meet young voters where they are. But he says if this bill lands on his desk, he will sign it.
If they pass it, I'll sign it.
As president, Donald Trump once tried to ban TikTok by executive order, but now he's against a possible ban. He says it would help Facebook, which he's railed against. But Trump's change in tune also comes after he met with a top Republican donor who has a major financial stake in TikTok's parent company.
A lot to track there as well. Let's get right to Rachel Scott live up on the Hill tonight. Rachel, you heard the president there and his campaign. Obviously, they're on TikTok as well, as you pointed out, trying to reach younger voters. But the president very clear. He says he's ready to sign this bill if the Senate passes it as well.
Yes, David, and even with the president's support, there are no signs that the Senate will move quickly. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says they only plan to review this legislation. And tonight, China responding, blasting this move, insisting that it will only backfire on the U.S. But again, David, the version of TikTok that's available in China is largely educational and far different from what's available here in the U.S. David.
A lot of strong opinions, but that's a very important point, Rachel. Thank you. We turn now to the breaking news from Georgia tonight in the case against Donald Trump and several alleged co-conspirators. Tonight, the judge with an unexpected ruling, throwing out 3 charges against Trump. It comes as that same judge is now set to decide the future of DA Fani Willis in this case, a decision that could come as early as tomorrow or Friday. Here's our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Kutersky, tonight.
Tonight, all eyes on one judge in Georgia who's expected to rule this week on whether Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis should be removed from Donald Trump's election interference case. But today, the judge handing down a surprise decision and a setback for prosecutors, throwing out 6 criminal counts against the former president and some of his co-defendants. One of those counts involves Trump's phone call to Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, urging him to find the votes Trump needed to win.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Prosecutors seized on that call to charge Trump with soliciting a public official to violate his oath of office. But today, Judge Scott McAfee ruled they failed to include sufficient detail and did not give the defendants enough information to prepare their defenses intelligently. Judge McAfee used similar reasoning to dismiss charges that Trump and some of his co-defendants pressured public officials to call a special session of the state legislature and decertify the election results. The opinion impacts the cases against not just Trump, but also his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, his one-time lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and 3 other defendants. The judge gave prosecutors 6 months to decide whether they want to refile those dropped charges, addressing his concerns. And that phone call with the Georgia Secretary of State will still play a key role in other parts of the case. The former president, who had been facing 13 counts in Georgia, now faces 10, including the most serious one, racketeering. He's pleaded not guilty.
The judge is now set to rule by Friday, David, whether to disqualify the DA. He's weighing whether her relationship with the prosecutor she hired to help run the case poses an actual conflict of interest or merely just the appearance of one. David?
Aaron Kutersky following all this for us again tonight. Thank you. We're learning more at this hour about a scare on board a passenger jet from San Diego to Washington, D.C. A young man, a student pilot, allegedly trying to breach the cockpit multiple times. Tonight we have learned off-duty officers who happened to be on board stepping in to restrain him. Here's ABC's Mola Lengi now.
Tonight, a 19-year-old student pilot is facing federal charges after allegedly trying to breach the cockpit while he was a passenger on an Alaska Airlines flight from San Diego to Washington, D.C.
He attempted to access the flight deck 3 times.
According to an affidavit, Nathan Jones allegedly got out of his seat multiple times and made 3 separate attempts to open the cockpit door before flight attendants called for help from 8 off-duty officers who happened to be on board. They restrained Jones in flex cuffs until the 737 landed.
Just very confused, but then he would not listen to taking his seat, and after many repeated attempts, then they decided to just put the plastic cuffs on him.
When flight attendants allegedly asked Jones why he did it, he said he was testing them. Agents who searched his belongings found his student pilot's license and notes on how to operate an aircraft.
Well, Jones is charged with interfering with a flight crew. His family says he has no history of violence, and they're calling for a mental competency exam, saying it'll prove he never intended to harm anyone, David.
Mola Lengi tonight. Mola, thank you. Meantime, tonight there has been another United Boeing jet with a problem, the 5th issue in about a week now, this time in a Boeing 777 on its way to San Francisco. This is the video tonight of what looks like smoke right there into the right engine. That is actually hydraulic fluid leaking from the landing gear. The passenger jet was forced to turn around. And it comes tonight amid a new headline in the case of that Boeing jet, the door coming off at 16,000 feet. The video of the workers working on that door was erased, automatically wiped clean after 30 days. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, watch as moments after this Boeing 777 takes off in Sydney, hydraulic fluid is seen leaking from the landing gear. The plane carrying 183 passengers and crew heading to San Francisco Monday, turning around less than an hour into the flight, landing safely back at Sydney Airport, met by fire crews. It's the 5th incident involving a United Boeing plane in recent days, following this engine fire and this wheel falling off a jet during takeoff last week. And all this comes amid the investigation into that door plug that flew off an Alaska Airlines flight at 16,000 feet. Today, the NTSB says Boeing hasn't given them all the information they need. Officials telling the Senate Commerce Committee we still do not know who performed the work on that door plug and that Boeing has been unable to find the records documenting this work. The NTSB also says security footage had been overwritten as part of standard procedure.
We asked for security camera footage so we can understand who did the work. All their security camera footage is erased within 30 days and overwritten.
In a statement, Boeing says we will continue supporting this investigation in the transparent and proactive fashion. The company promising changes to its safety procedures, including added layers of inspection.
Sydney United says the plane returned due to a maintenance issue and passengers were rebooked on a later flight.
David. Trevor Ault with us again tonight. Trevor, thank you. We turn now to the major winter storm we're tracking at this hour. Heavy snow, damaging winds heading right across the country. Multiple states on alert already at this hour. California to Montana to New Mexico. Denver expecting up to 16 inches of snow from this. Then Texas up to Chicago, then right into the Northeast by the weekend. Senior meteorologist Rob Marciano timing it out for us. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. Denver gets some of their biggest snowstorms in the month of March, and, well, here we are. Winter storm warnings are posted there. We've got high wind alerts back through California. This storm's going to draw out, but the heaviest snows will be just east of the divide, 2 to 3 feet there, maybe over a foot in the western suburbs of Denver. Severe weather ahead of this. We've got watch boxes up for Kansas and parts of St. Louis till midnight, and then tomorrow that expands greatly. We're looking for the rain to rapidly push into parts of Chicago while it's still snowing in Denver, and then look for severe weather, maybe some tornadoes across Little Rock, and then rain here in the Northeast on Friday. David?
Rob Marciano with us. Thank you, Rob. And from California tonight, the images coming in, a massive landslide taking out multiple homes in Los Angeles and Sherman Oaks. At least 3 homes damaged, one of them under construction at the time. You can see part of the back of this home sheared off. Residents of other homes had to be evacuated. No one was hurt. It does come after months of record rains there. They're now bracing for winds gusting up to 65 miles per hour. We turn tonight to the danger in Haiti. We have been reporting here on the spiraling chaos in Haiti, gangs surrounding the capital. Tonight, the U.S. now sending in Marines, an anti-terror team, to protect the U.S. Embassy. And news of evacuations, including famous author Mitch Albom, who wrote Tuesdays with Morrie. We spoke with him just a short time ago. Matt Rivers again tonight.
Tonight, with Haiti in chaos, 4 Army helicopters flying an elite group of dozens of U.S. Marines into Port-au-Prince to reinforce security at the U.S. Embassy, days after the military evacuated some American staffers before the sun came up. Thousands of Americans, like missionary Miriam Sinodi and her group, trapped and desperate to escape.
They can come and get some, they need to come and get all.
With gangs controlling the city, veteran-led rescue group Project Dynamo saying they're headed to Haiti to try and help evacuate American citizens caught in the violence. 2 members of Congress also organizing a private evacuation of 10 Americans out of Haiti. That included best-selling author Mitch Albom, who wrote Tuesdays with Maury. Albom and his team saying goodbye to the children at the orphanage his charity runs, saying he's luckier than so many others still there amidst the violence.
When we came over the Haiti airspace to the Dominican Republic and they said, okay, we're clear of Haiti airspace, my wife and I were kind of hit with a very deep pang of sadness because our kids are still there and our staff is still there.
But for the vast majority of Americans there, like Jill Dolan, they can't escape, calling on the U.S. government to begin evacuations.
Every day I wake up thinking, Lord, please send us a chopper. Please send us an airplane that's going to come and rescue us today.
And David, Port-au-Prince calm for now, but that violence could spike at any moment, which would, of course, make any potential evacuations that much harder. David?
Matt Rivers in the Dominican Republic for us. Matt, thank you. When we come back, the college quarterback arrested on spring break tonight, in trouble twice within 30 minutes. And the Robin Roberts exclusive tonight, sitting down with actors Christina Applegate and Jamie Lynn Sigler, both battling MS and both opening up right here tonight. Tonight, the college quarterback arrested on spring break. University of Southern Mississippi quarterback John White arrested at a resort in Destin, Florida. The sheriff's office says he was cited for underage possession of alcohol on the beach. Police say the 19-year-old quarterback was then arrested, found with alcohol again 30 minutes later. When we come back here tonight, actress Olivia Munn this evening revealing her personal battle with breast cancer. And Robin Roberts with Christina Applegate and Jamie Lynn Sigler and their fight against MS. To the index, and tonight, actress Olivia Munn has revealed her battle with breast cancer. Posting images on Instagram, she was diagnosed in April. She underwent 4 surgeries, including a double mastectomy. She credits her doctor for the early diagnosis. She said a routine mammogram 2 months earlier didn't reveal it, but that the doctor still calculated her risk assessment, which then led to more testing. When we come back here tonight, Robin Roberts with actors Christina Applegate and Jamie Lynn Sigler, both battling multiple sclerosis, and the deeply moving interview in a moment.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, sponsored by Vivgard and Vivgard Hytrulo.
Finally tonight, Robin Roberts with Christina Applegate and Jamie Lynn Sigler. Both are battling multiple sclerosis, and both are helping others, launching a new podcast called Messy.
After 4 decades in the spotlight, Christina Applegate with good friend Jamie Lynn Sigler by her side.
She's doing this because I have the tremors. So
well, also because I love her. But
Candid about her life since being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2021.
Do you feel the love, Christina?
I mean, yes. I live kind of in hell.
That raw honesty infused with humor carrying her through.
When we saw you last at the Emmys presenting, and can I just say the emotions that I felt when you came out on that stage.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. You're totally shaming me with disability by standing up. It's fine. Okay.
Were you able to take in the moment?
Yeah, I actually kind of blacked out. And people said, oh, you were so funny. And I'm like, I don't even know what I said. And I felt really beloved, and it was really a beautiful thing. Then, I'm just going to say this. That audience stood up for everybody.
Come on.
Jamie was starring in The Sopranos when she was diagnosed with MS at just 20 years old. The two have bonded over their shared disease, supporting each other through its unique challenges.
for so long, I've been celebrated for being the strong one and the positive one, that it felt like I was not that if I would admit that some days were hard. But she has really pushed me to be able to say that, because I thought I was letting people down if I would talk about how hard it was sometimes.
I was kind of putting on a little act for everybody for so long, and I just thought that was easier. To be light, be funny, be light. Don't make people feel uncomfortable, and I don't care anymore.
Well, Christina Applegate, it's nice to finally meet you.
Again, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah.
We are pulling for Christina and for Jamie and for the so many who are battling MS in this country. More of Robin's moving interview later tonight on Nightline. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.